All right, and thank you indeed, Ekene, for that report. And joining us here in the studio to do justice to our focal point this morning, first we have His Excellency Simon Bakul Along, the Director General, All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council. He's also the Executive Governor of Plateau State and Chairman, Northern Governors Forum. It's a lot to have you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers.
All right, I also have here with us this morning Dr. Betta Idu. Dr. Betta Idu is the APC National Women Leader. She's been on this program via Zoom, but today we are glad to have her live here in our Abuja studios. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here live.
All right.
Also, with us in the studios, I would like to welcome Festus Kayamo, Learned Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He's the APC Presidential Campaign Spokesperson. Festus Kayamo, we're glad to have you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's begin with the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Your Excellency, the former flag off of campaigns was on the 28th of September, which was last week. We've seen some activities on the political front. Well, why is it that the APC presidential campaign is yet to hit the trail?
Well, thank you very much for that. And you're also very aware that APC is the biggest party in the country, not only in the country, in Africa. So anytime the big brother will always, everybody will want to learn from the big brother. This campaign for this year, in line with the new electoral act, has been a little bit changed. There's a little bit change because the period is a long period. Now, for people who are not really very vast, I will say not experienced in politicking, they will rush and exhaust their energy. But for us, we are already aware and we know this process. So we can't be rushing to exhaust our energy. We were planning. And you know, when you are planning in this kind of environment, that an election that will take you over 4 to 5 months, you will need to plan very well. So we started our plans, and when the date for 28th was announced, I was surprised that some parties were even rushing as if that was the deadline to rush and unveil their campaign. But I've seen from also the structures and in the campaign council that they were waiting. If anything that APC was doing, I will see they will copy it. Even, yes, I won't name the parties, but I've seen it. So when they copy, we amend. Yeah, that's what we are doing. When they copy, we amend. I've seen them. I've seen what we did. When we brought out an organogram, we announced they started copying the organogram. We went and amended their organogram. So they delayed their own because they were waiting for APC to come out so that they will copy. We have reached the stage where they will not copy. Everybody is now waiting for APC to unveil the original organogram. So that is the delay for us. Now, we have already prepared. We've laid out our timetable, and we are going to now do the real unveiling. By the time we do the unveiling of the Presidential Council, we also tell you the timetable for the election, and part of it was what we did. We asked our candidates to go and take a rest because they are going to go under stress. Everybody is going to go under stress for 5 months. Even some of us, the Director General of the Council, they gave us small holiday to go and rest. We all rested and we came back. And when we were coming back, we also asked our campaign, presidential campaign candidate, go and take a rest too. So it was when he took a rest, people said he was sick. We knew what we were doing. Okay. He took a rest and now he is back. So it is the time that we are now prepared to unveil our campaign.
All right. Thank you. So I hope that this copying, did not affect challenges as well. Copying challenges, as the case may be, because we've seen some kind of turbulence, if you like, yes, in the preparations, before now, considering the fact that, there was this publication that the national chairman was not happy with the constitution of members of the campaign council of the party. I also know that it was not really smooth, for the party all this while, after the primaries and what have you. These could have led, to the partly the reason why APC as a governing party has not really taken up the campaign, irrespective of what you have explained, which are reasonable,
Yes.
right? But people might view that from other perspectives.
No,
in terms
no.
of resting, some people were saying, there are beautiful places in Nigeria where one can rest, so you can, still reach such person. But traveling abroad has been so consistent with our leaders lately, and we Nigerians are complaining about that.
Let me take it from the point of what you are saying. We are talking about politicking. I am here. If I say I leave Plateau State, I want to come and rest in Abuja, I am not resting. People will follow me to Abuja. The Abuja people from Plateau will not even allow me to rest. When you talk of rest, why do people take holidays? Even white people come to Africa to do holidays. Don't take it at the point that some people travel abroad. White men travel here to do holidays. Why do they come here? They are also coming here because they want to do complete outside. People say places like Kenya are tourist centers because of what? Is it not Africa? Because they want to, when you want to rest, completely you put off your phone, put everything. But you can't be resting in your house when your children are up and down disturbing you. That is not rest. So that is that. Secondly, I must also sympathize, like you mentioned, the national chairman. If you see the anxiety for this campaign in the office of the director general, you will sympathize, or the chairman, you will sympathize with him. Because we used to organize this campaign from top to bottom. But today, the anxiety and the scope is that you must go and start from the bottom. The word chairman will tell you, I will not want anybody, I am not going to Abuja. If you don't want to create a campaign council for me, I will not follow you to Abuja. I will not go for any rally. So our campaign has moved from top to bottom, from bottom to top. First, we had to look at the grassroots, that is from the ward. What will be their interest? How active are they going to participate in this campaign? Because that is where you do election at the polling unit. From there, you move to the interests of local governments. From the local government, then you get to the state. From the state, you get to the zones. Now, after the zones, the one at the national are those who will sit down, prepare the policies through the directorates, and bring out the schemes, bring out everything, and dish out. But our focus is on demand at the grassroots. It's the grassroots demand at the grassroots. If you concentrate and talk about what I'm seeing here, social media, they are talking about this one every day. I say, look, we know what we are doing. By the time you shout here, you go back home, the people will not understand. They don't even know you. But what we have done, so this anxiety has created an opportunity for us to also continue to amend our structures. So the chairman will also be anxious to see the level of participation. It was not anything that there was a fight. People said that. No, when you have this kind of large environment with very large interest, and then with anxiety, the level of anxiety, you will definitely expect that people will cross their ideas. So we had that little mix-up of ideas, and by the time we came back, all of us were on holidays. We came back, we met, we sat down, we realized that there was nothing. So even what they were thinking that there was going to be a problem, we came out excited that there was no problem. So now we understand ourselves. We also explain the magnitude of the job that we are going to envisage, because this thing will have to do with the man at the grassroots. Every day you are talking here, people are calling you, because we have created communication down to the polling unit. People are calling you from the polling unit. They are telling you, sit down in Abuja there. What is happening here is a different matter. So the first person, our candidate, being an experienced man, will always listen to that one first. Listen to the man at the polling unit first before you come here with anything. So we've concentrated on listening to the man at the grassroots. By the time we unveil the campaign, you will see what will happen.
All right.
All right, interesting. But let's also take a look at this because our business in the media is to have a wide-angle view of occurrences, and it is necessarily the case that the two largest political parties, the governing APC and the PDP, will, in the public view, they appear to be racked by internal issues. Aside from what His Excellency has just explained, we of course know that the issues around Muslim tickets is still one that some APC members are complaining about. And the PDP is not here, so they are not in a position to respond. But we do know that the PDP structures have also been struggling with whether IU stays or it doesn't stay, and Wike and his cap and all that. So the electorate is getting a picture of some internal dissent, as it were. What exactly is happening in the case of the APC? This doesn't look like a storm in a teacup, Senior Advocate.
Well, like my boss said, the DG, it is actually a storm in a teacup. So I respectfully disagree with you, sir. In the case of the APC, it is a storm in a teacup. Because at times, the opposition and the press, they virtually wish a crisis on us when there is no crisis. It is their wishful thinking. And so sometimes even somebody even coughs, they will say, there's a crisis there going on. What we have is what they call sweet headache. If I remember my literature very well, I think that's oxymoron. It's a sweet headache because you have a situation in the APC where everybody is struggling to get in. And you heard my boss, the DG, say so, that it is from the unit level, everybody is calling, they are anxious, the fervor, the love for the candidate and the party is growing. We know that we feel it inside the APC. We feel the love and the passion for the party. Our friends across the other side, people are pulling out. Governors are pulling out of their campaign. I'm just telling you to see, contrast it. So our own, don't compare us with those people, please. That we have both racked by internal crisis. No, our own is not crisis. Our own is passion. It's not crisis. Passion to get in. We are struggling to even push people away. And maybe if DJ allows me to explain this to our members, because our members are watching, we should use this platform to also explain to them that we don't want a top-heavy campaign council in Abuja. That's the decision we have taken, and I think we confirm. We want to push it to the states, local government, and the world. That is where the votes are. So everybody struggling to come to Abuja, it will not work. That is why we are going to create state campaign councils. That list is still coming out. And so we should let everybody know within the party that the list that came out is not exhaustive. And thankfully, like he has explained, the leadership of the party, they're looking at it again. And it's going to be an all-inclusive list. So this is a message to all party members across the country that they should calm down. Every single person will be involved in the presidential campaign. And then these issues of title or no title, we have explained to our members. So long as you bear a card of the APC, you are a member of the presidential campaign. You have a duty at your doorstep, your ward, your streets, everywhere you find yourself to carry the burden of this party. In fact, the fact that you are a member APC is a title. It's a title. We just want to let people know that. And I used to tell people that even if you don't give me the position of director of public affairs, like I am now, a spokesperson, I will still speak. I'm only just leading the way. Everybody is a spokesperson for this party. Every single person. There's nobody that has a duty to say, go and speak. No. It's just a title. So, as like I explained at some other fora, you cannot equate starting up a small car, a small 2K, we need to call it 2K or Kekemawa. You want to maneuver it on the highway with a 50-ton trailer, which is the APC. Massive party. And you also know that the president of Nigeria is the chairman of the campaign council. So there's a presidential diary to take into consideration in fashioning out our own schedule. The presidential diary. So it is not easy to start up this type of heavy machine and, you know, maneuver it into the highway, which is what we are trying to do. But once it hits the highway, once it hits the highway,
If the highway is Lokoja, let me stop there.
but once that machine hits the highway, my big brother Kingston, once that machine hits the highway, all the small cars we fly. They will park. They will park.
Now,
You know.
let's talk about the component of that big trailer.
Yeah.
You know, trailer should have tires,
Everything,
or
massive.
whatever. You know. And talking about the crisis, or if you like, challenge that you have experienced after the primaries, those who contested alongside your presidential candidate, you know, have not come to terms with the realities in terms of the emergence of His Excellency Ahmed Tinubu. Because we have not seen any kind of reconciliatory meeting with respect to bringing them into fold. But these are personalities who have worked for APC over the years and who also hold at a very high esteem from different parts of the country where they come from. Why have they not been, brought back into the fold if you say there are no challenges? And again, when you say that the press, would wish to you people to have crisis, it's not that. It's from the utterances of key stakeholders in your party that will determine what's coming from their inside, and we begin to analyze those things. If a man of a certain level politically could come and mention something or say something to the public, of course we take it seriously, and that's where we begin to see something is brewing somewhere. Perhaps those have not been attended to. With respect to those who participated in the primaries, what is happening? Are they participating in this campaign?
Well, my boss is even more qualified to talk about this, than myself. But let me just give you a hint. I don't think you are correct. I disagree with you. You saw our candidates after the primary. He went to the houses of each and every one of this.
There was a meeting that was called and they did.
No. But there was no official communication. That was a meeting hashed by the press, created by the press, and then the meeting collapsed by the press by their own. There was no such meeting. There was no such meeting. That is the honest truth. The office of the DG never issued such a statement. I never issued I was not directed to issue such a statement. So, like I speak with you, there's people say after the primaries reconciliation, there is even no crisis to reconcile. It's a primary that was done before the world, clean, free and fair. So what is there to reconcile? It's just a very healthy game. And after that, every single aspirant on that field that day, Eagle Square, have keyed into the Asiwaju project. Every single one. Have you seen a statement? No, sir. Have you seen a statement?
Wajuba is in court.
Well, the point, even Wajuba that you are talking about, pulled out. He was not there at the end of the day.
We're saying that he's in court.
No, but he did not come to Eagle Square. Even that particular aspirant, he was not in the Eagle Square that day. He pulled out. But every person who contested on that day, everybody there who came and sought votes on that day, they are in the Asiwaju project.
Those who didn't contest, like Babachir, Dogara, and the rest of them, have their own. Let me explain
Babacha and Dogara. A party moves by structures. Structures. They deal with either the Governors Forum, the NWC, the NEC. These are structures of party. It doesn't mean that when any particular member of a party who is not part of a structure that forms the component part of the leadership of the party expresses dissatisfaction, that it's crisis in party. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is a party of 40 million members. So if one person now in Otukpo or Karanamoda in Sokoto just comes and says, I'm not happy with the decision of the party, that is a crisis in party? No. The crisis must be when a particular structure of the party, a component of the party, leadership of the party is not happy with a decision, it's not carried along in the decision of the party. That is my view. My, colleagues, they may have a different, but there is no crisis because one or two persons are dissatisfied with a decision. They don't represent a structure of the party. I've said it before. Let me just make this last statement. That there's nothing called Northern Christian Forum in the constitution of the APC. Nobody has been elected to lead a forum called Northern Christian Forum in the APC. There has been no such decision, no structure like that. So nobody should claim to be leader of a structure that was not created by the constitution of the party.
But you're talking about a human being.
Yes,
but organize themselves. And people have freedom to have associations, relationships, and what have you. And they can bring that as a force against or for a party and all
It
that.
is not in our party constitution. It is not.
Oh,
So
okay.
you cannot equate that to be a crisis in the APC. You can say that there are some people in the party who are perhaps dissatisfied with the decision, but to equate it with a crisis of a party, it is not right.
Okay.
And let me just add to that. Because when you talk about a crisis, you know, sometimes you create an opportunity for people to move to another political party, because that's what the constitution provides. Like he said, it must affect the institution, it must affect the party. You will go into a primary, somebody will say, I will complain that yes, I was not fairly treated. But there are mechanisms in the party for settling such things. And those mechanisms have not been exhausted. In some cases, they have been exhausted. The party has been handling this, and within the campaign structure too, we have a department, directorate for reconciliation, and they have been doing that. From the states, they are handling cases from the state. I saw even the vice president, the presidential candidate, and the vice presidential candidate have been very, very active on that. You go to his house, you see a lot of people coming to listen to their complaints. You go to the national chairman's house, you see a lot of complaints. That is part of politics. So, but to say that as it is now, we have a very major conflict or major crisis, no. I don't think so.
Well, that's fine. We do not, of course, dwell on this crisis appellation or otherwise, but there's a subtext on the table. We'll come to that subsequently. Because earlier, Festus Keyamo, senior advocate of Nigeria, did say that the title that he bears doesn't mean that every other person in the APC cannot be a spokesperson for the APC. If you say that every other person can also speak and should speak on behalf of APC, and some of those you expect to speak are expressing contrary opinions as to what is going on, it does tell you that something is not quite clear. But we will come to that if he wishes to return to it. Let's bring in the APC National Women's Leader. What should we expect? If I say we now, I'm talking about the electorate of the women's role in this campaign. And I'm asking this question advisedly because ahead of the APC convention that brought about the new administration of the party, we had APC women leaders who were our guests on Good Morning Nigeria, and they had a charter of demands that they wanted incorporated into the party's constitution by way of amendment. And those demands, of course, included the number of positions and places. You emerged as APC women leader, pretty young in comparison to persons who had previously held such positions. But we have seen the primaries, and it's not just in the APC, the dismal number of women who have emerged as candidates for the election. What then do we expect the women to do this time around? Will they still be clapping hands and drumming as they had previously done?
Thank you. So first and foremost, I think we need to make it very clear that APC as a party is centered on mainstreaming women. And like you said very clearly, before this time, we had just one woman in the NWC of the party. But today as we speak, we have a second person. So the Deputy National Woman Leader is also a member of the NWC. Before this time, we used to have people go to the wards, of course, the local government state as delegates. So you have 5 delegates in the state per each of the wards. And in these 5 delegates, they were all men. Very few cases you will find one woman, and then the rest of them will be men. But the constitutional review that was done in the convention that brought us on board made it possible or compulsory that there should be 2 women and 3 men. And where you have the 3 persons at the national as national delegates, one of the 3 persons must be a woman. These were things that were done to give women that prominence in the party and increase their participation in politics generally, so that they begin to contribute their own quota to the development of politics, our democracy, and indeed the entire society. Another step that APC went ahead to take was the fact that they made the forms completely free for women running for the various positions. And this was the first time in history that APC or any other political party in Nigeria had that huge number of women running for elections. And then that's cascaded into the primaries, and then at the end of the primaries, we have about 92 candidates. This is as opposed to less than 30 female candidates we had in 2019, and of course far less in 2015. So all of these are party internal arrangements and of course constitutional review that has led to increasing the number of female participation. Really, for the next going forward, we have a candidate on the ballot who was the first in this new fourth republic to take on a woman as a deputy governorship candidate against all odds when it was not part of the uniform or the trend. And he ran that election in 1999 and he won with a woman as his deputy. And since then, it's been a trend. Today, at least we have 3 or 4 governors across the states that have women. And for the first time too, again, well, maybe not the very first, we have a woman as the governorship candidate of Adamawa in our same party. So it's very, very clear that we have a presidential candidate who understands the value of women in nation building and is ready to mainstream women. As we go into the campaigns, women are not just expecting to come out and clap and blow whistles and dance. No, we're a core part of the campaign. In fact, the decision to deliver the next president of Nigeria rests in the hands of women and young people. And so this is a critical mass which our candidate understands fully, the DG of campaign understands fully, and of course the entire party system understands that, and they have been very supportive to women. Presently, there's a women presidential team that has been created, which will be inaugurated by the president on Monday, and it contains, of course, over 1,000 women drawn across board that will come together to work for the success of the presidential campaign. And of course, in the PCC, the main campaign council, right, we still have a good number of women represented. The idea, like our candidate said in a discussion which I had with him, he said 35% affirmative action is too small for women. Women deserve more because of the contribution they bring to the table. I'm sure APC will ensure that.
What percentage will you have apart from 20? Will we go 60% or so?
Oh, well, I'll say 40 is fine.
Well, ironically, you know, we had those women here on this platform when we talk about what women should get. And they were APC members. They were key members, really. You know, even the minister was involved, you know, saying that, look, it is not enough. But let's not go there now. I recall the protest by women at National Assembly, okay?
Yes, the bill which,
and this National Assembly that is headed by APC government and what have you, and their women are complaining. We will get to that. But let me throw
I
this
hope you know that's under review right now.
Okay, I agree with you.
But the other point, Kira, I'm sorry to jump in. You know, for the benefit of our viewers, you made a point about the choice of a female running mate in the 1999 elections when it's won in. That was the first, really. But we don't want to get into how it all ended, because that same female deputy candidate had to step down in the course of her being deputy governor, because just a few steps away from being impeached.
Okay. One politician made a comment, and he said that Nigeria has not graduated into, you know, having political parties that are ideologically based. You know, that what we're doing at the moment is a campaign of politics of promises and what have you, and that is what has actually been in the air. In fact, that's what has been practiced over the years since 1999. To say, look, I promise I'll bring water. I promise steady energy supply and all of that. And we also know that someone in the past has said that, look, it will take only 6 months, you know, to give Nigeria power, and that never happened after almost 8 years. So my question is, what will be the campaign issue now for the ruling APC? Because, of course, Nigerians are looking forward to you. They have witnessed how you have been able to carry the country from 2015 to this moment. We're talking about the economy, we're talking about education, we're talking about other sectors of our national life that have been, that have not really, you know, impacted positively as it should be, you know, all Nigerians, and that people are complaining. So what's going to be your campaign issue as a leading and governing party, that people are, really not satisfied with in terms of certain things that have gone bad, in the past. Let me begin with you, the DG.
Thank you very much. I think when you say that you are expecting to hear that from our unveiling of our manifesto, yes, we are aware we had a manifesto from the party of the general manifesto of the APC. But I don't want to start preempting what is going to come out as our manifesto for the candidate, because all these issues are going to be handled. I don't want us to start jumping into it, because there are things that in the next few days we would have handled. When we handle, we'll still come back and tell you what we intend to do to address some of these issues. First, APC has been an existing government for 8 years. How we intend to continue, how we intend to address some of these issues are things that we're saying a candidate is coming with a lot of it. This candidate is coming with a lot of it. Like she said, the popularity of the candidate is what is causing confusion on how to even manage the campaign council. The popularity, the general popularity of the candidate is what is making it very, very difficult for us to even handle the campaign council because of the passion, because of the ideas. You need to go and sit down with him. If he sits down here in the next 30 minutes, you will know him. Already his pedigree, you already know. If he said, I'm going to turn Lagos into this, and he indeed turned Lagos into what it is today. Today he's saying, I'm going to do this. Nobody will expect a different thing. Definitely they will say, yes, we have confidence in the fact that he has done it before, and he's going to do it, because you are talking about promises. The rest are doing promises. If you ask what have they done before, you hardly see any achievement. But for him, there's something to hold. He has to hold on to. He will tell you that I promise to change this thing. And indeed, within that time, he changed it. Today he's promising he's going to change. He's going to effect a change, because like somebody mentioned the issue of a vehicle. Yeah, you are moving with a vehicle. You are going to a mechanic. You know where the problem is, because if you are buying a new car, it's like also buying a new car. You may have to test the car first. The other ones that are coming is telling us that we are going to buy a new car. We are not even sure they are going to drive the car appropriately. They will know the manuals. They will understand the manuals. They may have to learn first to understand the manuals. But even if this one is driving an old car, he understands where it is. He knows the tire. He knows the speed limit. He knows what will happen if he's moving with the car. So I will equate that with that kind of person. He has done it before. He's going to use and then add up to exactly what he has done. And then people have hope in that. So when you move, you will see the level of how people move. They come and sit down and say, well, campaign, the flag of campaign, the flag of Baruayetu flag of campaign. Even in my house as a DG now, I run back to Jos and I see everywhere posters, Jagaban, Jagaban, Jagaban. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know where they're coming from. That was why I mentioned this one, that you see us in difficulties. You mentioned something like, you mentioned the other ones about issues. Those issues will come out. I don't want us to overemphasize this issue about religious ticket. I'm a Christian. I'm the DG of the campaign. I'm a Christian. I'm a member of APC. He said there was no, yes, I had explained this several times. I said, even if I'm talking about minority or talking about my number one Christian in government today, from the north, I am the one. Because I'm the governor, I'm the chairman of Northern Governors Forum. We are all members of APC. Within APC, we all pledge that we are going into election. If you lose an election, you will also support whoever won the election. This election was very transparent. It was very transparent. When we finished the election, I didn't see anybody arguing that why did we produce a Christian presidential candidate. That would have been the point. To ask, why did we produce a Muslim presidential candidate? Just like we are talking about our own. PDP is also talking about our complaint, that it was done to the south. Somebody came from the north and took it.
So now that you raised the issue of Muslim ticket, What about other APC members who are key Christian figures in the north? We mentioned them, Dogara, Babashir, and they seem to have influence as well. Are you not in time with what they are saying? How do you ameliorate that? Because it might possibly affect you in that part of the country.
We are very conscious of that, but we are also not sleeping. And like I said, the headquarters of the Christian agitation on minority is in Jos. It's in Jos. Most of the minority churches are in Jos. I'm the governor of Plateau State. I also represent the position of Plateau State. APC is very strong in Plateau State today. So if we come, we converge. We usually come to converge. It is not wrong to talk about. Yes, politics is about interest. I have been the chairman coordinating for these last 7 years, myself and this SGF, coordinating the minority Christians in the north. Because one, I'm not only coordinating them, I've not only been coordinating them, but I've been appointed or elected as the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. So anything that will come without me knowing, I count it as not part of the interest that we're talking about. There is the general interest people talk about. Yes, but we don't see it that way. By the time we unveil our manifesto, you will understand this. But not talking about individual interests, because if you ask them, I've said it and they are not happy, that somebody wanted to be vice president, he was not appointed or picked as a vice president, and then heaven will fall. It's not proper. It's not proper. Everybody, yes, a lot of people who have suggested names were flying. I am sitting here, my name was also flying. I'm a governor. I didn't get it, does not mean that. If my name was not there, does not mean that the party must die. Because we pledge to abide by the constitution of APC. And the constitution of the APC does not only say you will go there in the interest of your religion. You are only going there to serve your people, where the programs are suitable that will make your people, that will develop your people, go and work for the party.
I like the word you use. You said that politics is about interest, and that interest is permanent.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One of the strangest things, I must say, that I have observed, again, in the Fourth Republic, of many unusual occurrences. Ahead of general elections, political parties are having 1, 2, 3, 4 spokespersons. I'm just wondering. Yes, we know that we're in the digital age. Some persons will be dealing with the digital space. If you are dealing with it, you are an assistant. You are not a spokesperson. Yes. There should be a cognizable face that says this is the person who is speaking on behalf of the political party. We've had elections in the past. In the Second Republic, partly, of course, in the Third Republic, that didn't quite gel. And a few years into the Fourth Republic, but lately, we see 1, 2, 3 for the same political party, the same candidate.
Just for the other side, though.
No, hang on. I'm getting to an issue. This one will issue a statement, one director, another one, all kinds of things. But tie that up to the president's admonition last week at the signing of the peace accord, that what is important is to get issue-based campaigns. Rather than the drivel about fake news and hate speech. I thought it was also significant that the National Peace Committee decided to also invite the spokesmen of the campaign councils to the signing ceremony. So it looks like there's a great deal of responsibility on the shoulders of the spokespersons, because the electorate is concerned that there's so much hot air and very little substance about what to expect, about what to discuss. Professor Skayamo.
Well, for us, I am sure you have seen the trajectory of our, discourse and our campaigns in the last, few weeks. We have always pushed out the achievements of Asiwaju, either as governor of Lagos State or as leader of the party after he was governor of Lagos State. So we have concentrated our campaigns on achievements. I don't want to mention names here. All the hot air is coming from some other side, not we. We are not abusing people. We are not harassing them online. We are not talking down on people. We have never done so. Just go and see all our, handles online, our supporters online. We have never done so. 80% of the other people's campaign is concentrated on demonizing Asiwaju. They are not selling their candidates. They wait for us to push and begin to demonize. Whereas for us, 80% of our own campaign is to sell our candidates, and 20% perhaps is to, fend off criticisms of our candidates. But the others, it's the other way around. For them, they use only 10% or 20% of their time to try to sell what is not there. For instance, and it is very significant, I want Nigerians to notice this very well, that for one of the candidates, there's really nothing to sell. He only hangs on to the achievements of his boss, because he has never been, like my boss said here, at the wheel. He has never, I said this statement one time at another forum, and they thought I was joking, but now people are beginning to really understand that one of the candidates have never really been in charge of any part of any tier of government, and he wants to be president. He has never been tested and trusted. Even when he was chairman of Economic Council, when he was vice president, he was still reporting to a boss.
Yeah, but
no, hold on, let me finish. I just want to finish.
Go there.
No, but you asked a question.
Yeah.
It's like, let me add to what my boss said here. You want to take a driver, you want to now, interview people for the position of a driver. A conductor comes, so say I was a conductor throughout during my time. Another one say I actually drove the vehicle. That is the situation we are saying. One is a conductor, he never drove the vehicle. You only hear that it was Obasanjo Atiku regime. What's the meaning of that? Were you in charge? There's nothing like, there was even no Obasanjo Atiku regime. And throughout that 8 years, he was belligerent, disobedient. He was never part of that government. In fact, at the point he left. How do you not compare yourself to somebody who drove a vehicle for 8 years? Okay. So you were a conductor. You were sitting by the door as a conductor.
Kayabo, SAN, thank you. Let's remind our viewers that you mentioned Atiku's name. Atiku is not here to immediately respond to what you.
But it's his campaign.
No, it's campaign.
Come.
No, you're talking
about their own.
No, earlier you were talking about a driver. Some persons could also argue. I'm not speaking for any person to say that person was driving a Beetle. Now you want to give the person a trailer.
Yeah, but
the skill required for driving a Beetle is not the same skill required for driving a trailer.
No, it's not Beetle. No, it's not Beetle. Let me explain. He knows how to change the gear.
Kira, wait. No, hold on a second. Hold on.
More interesting. Lagos State is
it is like a small
country.
The issue I was driving at, the woman leader, the issue I was driving at has to do with a campaign of calumny. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is coming from. But we have also seen and read about a candidate who has been run down, by whom I don't know. One, they said this candidate didn't attend the University of Nigeria. If he attended the University of Nigeria, he made a third class. He was a drug dealer, allegedly. When he was doing business as a student, he was a drug dealer. His father was murdered by drowning by his drug associate. I'm sure you have read all of those things.
But not for us.
I've said, I said I don't know by who. It has been flying around.
For what? You have also heard on our candidates, despite evidence to the contrary. Oh, age. Oh, this. He was a drug issue too. Blah, blah, blah. Whereas there's evidence to the you have heard it to yourself.
First of all, SAN, please, let's keep this at this level. I'll leave it for another day. And let's refocus our attention. Let's not go to the candidates. They will do. I think the campaign is open now.
Yeah.
All right. So, woman leader, part of your responsibility as a woman leader is to mobilize the women, to galvanize their efforts. Tell them what to do. Now, what will you be marketing? What are the issues that you're going to be marketing before these women? How will they be convinced that after over nearly 8 years of APC administration, that the party should return to power again, considering the current situation in the country? How are you going to do that? Because as a woman, you are supposed to be like a homemaker and what have you. So what will you be marketing to the women that will make them really think towards sustaining IPC in power?
Okay, so it's APC. First and foremost, we are at the point where we have so many things to market to Nigerian women. Since I assumed office, I think about probably 5 to 6 months ago, have been out there from one state to the other speaking to Nigerian women. And we've been very, very strategic about it. Going to the grassroots, like the DG has said, going down to the grassroots to meet the Nigerian woman and the people who truly matters, who would go to the polling unit and vote. Nigerian women can attest to the fact that the government of APC, which is presently ongoing, has given Nigerian women a lot of critical positions in government. Of course, in the executive, you know how many women have been appointed as part of this government. And then critical MDAs across board all have women heading them. This is beyond the typical Ministry of Women Affairs, where you see that as where the woman is, and maybe one or two other ministries. At least I can count over.
What about women in the rural areas, the real women?
Of course, we'll get into that. There are different steps of it. So at the level of the leadership, the government have given women a seat at the table. Now coming to the rural areas, there are issues that disturb mothers. Right? There are issues that disturb you as a woman, as a mother. This government, especially following the COVID pandemic, have given a lot of social relief to women at the grassroots level. This government have brought in survival funds, NCARES, Empower to employ their children. Even the little ones they send to school. And probably as a mother, if you send your child to school in the morning and you're unable to afford the food that child will eat morning, afternoon, and night, you're disturbed. A man might not be as disturbed as the mother. She would want to go sell her wrappers, sell her jewelry just to feed her children. And that's why you say when you empower a woman, you empower a nation, because she thinks home. Now that child leaves for school and is being fed in school where the child goes to. So this government has been very particular about empowering women. Of course, we have things like cash transfer, which 70% of the cash transfer that this government has run are just strictly for women. We were in Cross River State some 3 weeks ago with the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. And it was evident there from everything the women testified to it, right, that they have 36,000 people so far have benefited from the conditional cash transfer in Cross River. And 70% of this number are women. What's the cash transfer supposed to do? Build the small businesses. Of course, you know all the monies that have been put into small and medium scale businesses just to up it. That's where you give that woman an economic power to be able to respond to whatever it is that comes to our family, pay children's school fee, maintain the home. So these are strong points that governments have done for women at the grassroots, but they have also given women leadership positions. Today we have a chairman of NMPC who is a woman. These are things that we should bring to the fore so that Nigerian women can understand that we have been empowered at the lower level, we've been empowered at the higher level. And if we support our presidential candidate who has empowered even his wife at home, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, he has of course he has supported her till she got to the highest level of the legislation in our country. She's the 7th senator as we speak, right? And in Lagos State, I remember this was the meeting I had with our candidates. Please, can you help women to emerge as candidates of the party in Lagos State? And he told me, he said, I've always been centered on empowering women. It's something I do without being asked to do it. Today, as we speak, half of Lagos, more than half, the biggest senatorial district in Lagos, the Alimosho, the candidate there is a woman. She was the former deputy governor of Lagos State. We have Kapilat, who is a woman. She's also running for House of Reps, and we have several others in the House of Assembly. So these are pointers to the fact that he's ready to mainstream women, he's ready to support grassroots women and build the economy. We've done so as APC, and he would only up the game. We can't go back.
All right.
Let me just add
Okay.
a little to that. The women leader has spoken about it very well. Our campaign is focused on certain issues. We are going to be talking about issues. And part of the issues is concentrating on vulnerable. I call them vulnerable because women are there, Youths are there, and also the people living with disabilities. These are vulnerables in the society. Our priority is giving attention to these three categories of people. That is why in the process of our doing the organogram, the campaign, for the first time, that was why I said, when we start, people copy it. For the first time, we created a department. We say a campaign, a mini campaign for the women. Because they are always out. When you give them attention and they know that you have given them attention, they know they are benefiting, they are the ones that will go out more than anybody. So they have a separate committee that they are going to run their campaigns, and they are very happy about it. Some of these issues are issues that they get from the rural woman. The rural woman is very happy. Is what the press what they say outside is different. I sit down here as a governor. If I go to places, I see people coming. I told the story of how an old woman had to buy a chicken to come to my house. Say she wanted to give me the chicken. People said, no, she was a witch. But at the end of the day, I heard from the window, I came out. I said, Mama, what do you want to do? She said, I want to give it to my son, the governor. Do you know the governor? He said, I don't know him. Why are you asking? He said, from my place, I saw market money. I saw this one. I saw this one. Why will I not appreciate? I don't know him, but let him take this chicken as part of my gift to him. I went out. I took the chicken. I roasted the chicken, and I ate the chicken because I felt very comfortable. I felt very comfortable. That this woman, because this woman was in her own way appreciating the government, appreciating APC. Now this is what we have done. By the time they come out, they are already reaching out to them. The youths, you know, the agitation here and there, up and down. You can't ignore the youths. So in order to not to clock them, we created an opportunity for them. Even before the lifting of the campaign, the part of their consultation, they have gone very far. Exactly. They are now far everywhere. Everywhere you see mobilization of heavy youths here and there. The disabilities are not left out. The disabilities are the people living with disabilities are not left out. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in Onga. And I came there, the person in charge, the DG, is from my state. It's my boy. Now he came and said, look at people are looking for me. I said, looking for me what? They said, the DG of our campaign. I said, for what? So several interventions they want to bring to Nigeria. I said, why? Because of also the attention of the government and what we are thinking to do for the people living with disabilities. Now you have that kind of arrangement. We've created for them too a separate committee. By the time you get into their campaign, they are seeing themselves already as government in the making. Any interference will not do anything. Of course, as politicians, we'll also tell them, if you go and vote another party, they will cancel this. The man will not leave you. A blind man, he will look for you to hit you with this. Exactly. So he signed for the first time. I was we were very proactive in that bill. On that bill, that was why they asked me to even nominate the person that will take. That is the DG. You see that kind of thing in the President Buhari. You see that kind of thing too in the Asiwaju. Exactly. You can't separate them in terms of sympathy for this kind of moves. Exactly. You cannot. I know them very well. You cannot separate them.
All right, Your Excellency, Senior Advocate and Woman Leader, Dr. Betta Edo, we're going to have to take a short break now. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. All right, you're welcome back, and it's still Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. Well, the home stretch of this conversation, I would like to raise an issue with the DG of the campaign and indeed the other guests who are here to also weigh in. The APC is up against 17 other candidates in the election. And on Good Morning Nigeria, we have had guests in the past who complained about their being usually outmuscled by state funds, that governing parties, whether at the state or at the national level, do have access to the treasury. and that puts them at a disadvantage. And this has sometimes led to their advocacy for the funding of political parties by the government, as we had previously, before the law was changed. There are provisions in the Electoral Act 2022 that govern campaign financing. What is the promise from the APC Presidential Council that there will be obedience to the, or rather adherence? Let me there will be adherence. Yes, the lexicon has changed. So I quickly got a synonym. There will be adherence to the provisions of the law. To the provisions of the law regarding campaign financing. Against the backdrop, as I said, that the APC is up against 17 other candidates. Digital.
Thank you very much. Let me also answer you that under this regime, I think the president has made it in such a way that he has been disobedient to any infraction of laws, including Electoral Act. I say that disobedient because he doesn't want any infraction of laws. The government is not the same like what I was in PDP. I was a speaker in PDP for 8 years. I now went into APC. I was speaker when I saw different presidents. In this game, we knew what we have been going through. First, the president will not even allow you to go to any MJ, go and start looking for money for campaign. He doesn't allow it. He doesn't. When we came for free, we came to do primaries, you saw the primaries. He refused. Unlike others before that will tell you that in this game, it is going to be a do or die affair. I must produce A. He said, no, I want you to respect the system. I want you to respect the system. What the Electoral Act says, we must follow. Some people even didn't believe him in signing the Electoral Act.
Yes.
Against all pressures. Yes. Everybody was up and down. We never expected, even those of us with the governing party.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we saw him sign for everybody. And nobody dared him to come and ask why he signed that thing. He said, look, I want an electoral process that will be free and fair. We went to United Nations and we just came back. His speech at the United Nations was emphasizing a free and fair election. Free and fair elections. How many presidents have done this before? In Nigeria, I have not seen it. This one has come out before the United Nations to say, please assess me on the basis of free and fair elections. Now, free and fair elections involve everything you are talking about. For us at the campaign, we are not thinking of using the muscle of government. We are not thinking of using security. We are not thinking of using INEC. We are going to campaign on issues. Let Nigerians have opportunity to decide. That's why I told you, we are starting from the grassroots. The man from the grassroots has enjoyed the government. He will tell you, yes. The woman has done this. She will tell you, yes. Look at my shop now. Look at my trading. My life has improved. The youth, the assurances, sorry, the youth with assurances that everything is going to be better. So those are some of the things that we are going to do.
Okay.
Like I said, we have not unveiled our manifesto. In the next few days, we are going to do that. In the next few days, you are going to hear us more. And that time, you will see our techniques, you will see our tactics in approaching this issue.
Okay, we're going to see the man behind the masquerade. Yes,
I just wanted to add to that.
It's for amplification. It's not the same thing. That's for amplification.
Yes.
Let us know how the APC intends to fund its campaign. Well, this is a political party where members do not have contributions to make to the party, the running of the party. Yes, the party has raised funds, during the primaries and what have you, but that should be a source of this campaign. If you're not going to use or perhaps to take advantage of APC administrations in different parts of the country who may now raise money from the subnational level, how do you source funds for this campaign? It's a huge campaign. It involves traveling around the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. How is it going to happen without a particular source of funding?
We have 2 rounds of election behind us, and so we should look at those rounds of election we went through. In 2015, we're not the governing party. We're in opposition. And we ran a successful campaign against the ruling party because of the love for the APC and the way people came out and supported the APC at that time. And we defeated a ruling party from the position of an underdog at that time. In 2019, I remember I was also the director of strategic communication and spokesperson. I was also a spokesperson. So this is the second time. And I followed every speech issued by the president at that time. I was the one that pushed them out. The president consistently said in 2019, when he was on the ballot, that nobody, like the DG said, should ever go to any government department. And he instructed, in fact, he was instructing government departments not to answer anybody or to, people should come and drop his name. To answer anybody who comes to drop his name, that the president said money should come out from this department or that. He did that in order to clear himself, that he has not sent anybody anywhere to raise any money within the system. A president, that's the first time a president will make such a bold statement from 1999 to say nobody should drop his name to collect money from the system. So if you understand the essential Buhari, who is actually still in charge now, don't forget that he's still in charge.
But that was the one he used for the campaign in 2015.
Hold on. Did you see that even non-state actors came to that primaries in our party members, bought forms for 100 million? Not people in government, non-state actors, private businessmen, came to that place, primaries, and bought forms, not to talk of the money they use for mobilization, bought forms for 100 million. So we have these Nigerians, businessmen, passionate supporters, and it is not true that we don't make contributions. I heard you made such a comment.
Yes.
As a city minister, they take from my salary every month. If I get a salary slip, you will see deduction.
Because of government
deduction.
I'm being follower, member.
I'm just
Women.
They do that. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'm sorry, sir. Remember the DG said just now that he drives into Jos and he sees Asiwaju's posters everywhere. He, as governor, as leader of the party, has not released money for that.
He said,
I don't want to give an example.
He didn't say Asiwaju.
Everybody knows who we're talking about. He said it is Jagaban everywhere. But as leader of the party in play too, and as governor, he has not been part of any sort a dime. But he's flooded everywhere. No, but be honest, if you know the essential Buhari, you know him. You know that he still presides over this party. And he made a statement recently that he will not use government even position. He will not use to aid any candidate. Everybody should go and campaign and respect the wishes of Nigerians. He's the chairman of the campaign council.
Before this line of thought, leaves me, let me just drop this. But you also know that even we have of this platform, members of APC and PDP, shortly after the primaries. And we all know that in terms of the primaries, there's a lot of money changed hands. Right. And, after that, even what that he mentioned earlier on had to bow out, personally because of that. And some other person who did that without announcing them and so on. So there was this money thing.
I was not seeing any video of anybody within APC.
We are concerned about funds, how funds are raised, the authentic source of party funding that will enable some campaigns that will not, no government official will back in any way.
The only story we heard after primaries came from PDP, that somebody went and submitted his money he got from primaries to his constituency and said this is the money they gave him. And it was all over social media. So there was no such story from APC. But our plea was clean, fair, and free. Nobody.
Kayamo, thank you. There were also some videos.
And recently, to support what he said, he said we should not put names. I'm not naming political. I've seen a political party now coming to refund money.
Yes, you return money. You have seen it, sir. With letter.
Money from the party primaries.
With letter. Letter.
I know there were some videos we saw then after the primaries. Some people were at some corners and then they were busy. Sorry, please. Please pardon me. They were busy, counting the money. And then the video. I don't know the party. In different let's also
delegates to come out.
Let's also look at it, because campaign financing also relates to the freeness, fairness, and credibility of an election. The action of the government even at the subnational level, could be very critical And part of what we have seen in Nigeria, unfortunately, is that in some states, other candidates of other parties where the party is not in power, I'm not talking about the APC, it could be anybody, you are not allowed to expose your advertising or your campaign materials as the ruling party in that particular state would. Some of them, some other opposition parties in the state don't have equal access to the media. And we have read lately about some outrageous charges of the campaign billboards, that per billboard, this is how much you are going to pay. You know what it is. If you raise the stakes in terms of payment, you are able to exclude some other persons. How do we deal with this? Because those who are at the receiving end will raise the question, say, why is this happening to us? Is it because we're not in power? Because it means that you want your party in power to have, if you may, undue advantage. How do we deal with this, woman leader?
I think we need to be very clear on certain things. Like it is the case in my state, Cross River. Billboards advertising is actually contracted out to a firm that runs it for the government and pays revenue to the government. So government doesn't have any business in saying who should you take their billboard or who should you not take their billboard, right? They're not involved in that. All government wants to see is that at the end of the month, when we go to our meeting to check our revenue from advertisement came in. Now these people are there as contractors of government, right? And they are there to make revenue for the government. If you want to advertise whether you're any part, any name, you need to go engage with them to be able to do whatever you need to do. And of course, I'm sure you know this very well. It's not free. Nobody's going to put your picture or your poster or anything. Even when you come to the media houses, NTA, channels, anyone, you pay for whatever advertisement you want to have out.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Now,
Let's pause you there and ask you. Okay. Just a little before I ask you. Okay.
Because we also are reading on the newspapers. There's no proof of it because nobody has come to us with a complaint to say that one of our states is doing this. I also read a complaint like that. First, if there's a complaint like that, there are regulations from there are guidelines from the electoral law. Yes. So it's for people to write to the INEC, to complain to INEC that this is what is happening. Yes. But at the level of our campaigns, we are going to be very fair to everybody. We are going to ensure that we comply with the regulations guiding elections, both at the Electoral Act and even other laws that are the Constitution of Nigeria. So if there is something like that, it is our duty. It is our duty. But as I'm talking now, I also read it in the newspaper, but I've not received any complaint to that nature. And as we unveil our campaigns, we'll ensure what our campaign council chairman, who is the president will not tolerate that. He will not tolerate that kind of thing.
There's even the states on the other side
yes.
that are even doing so.
There's another thing trending in recent times, where a political party will plan a rally in a particular state, and the state government will deny that party a venue for the campaign because it's an opposition party. That has been on for a while now. How are you going to address that? Because it may rear its ugly head this time around.
All those ones are even regulated by the Act.
But
you cannot be doing.
It happened in Lagos. Remember the Lekki somebody went to court. Somebody went to court.
That's not a venue.
Two stadiums.
It's not supposed to be a gathering point for movement.
I don't want to make that comment go without replying it, because many people out there are uneducated about this. A road is not a venue for a rally.
There are stadiums.
They say go and pay
and use it.
Go and pay. You are doing and how you will not give shishi. Come to use free road. Go and pay. Pay for a rally.
Giving shishi.
Go and pay for a rally. And then pay for a stadium and know how it is.
From what we hear means
bribing.
People bribe.
No. They don't want to spend. They don't want to spend. Go and rent a stadium.
Rent a stadium. Go
and pay. You can pay therefore for deep pockets.
Not deep pocket. You must pay. Even in America, you must pay. Free. In America.
A Lagos state government.
Yes, they will pay.
Okay. Well, madam and gentlemen.
I gave them a stadium.
Free of charge.
I've given them a stadium
you gave
in
APC or which one?
no
Labour Party?
Labour Party
You gave
had
them
a rally.
You
Yes,
did well. You did well.
they did a rally.
You did
Yes,
well.
I did not drive them from holding a rally in my state.
Oh,
When they finished, they realized that they will not occupy the rally. Then they now call it a middle belt rally.
On that note, Your Excellency, Governor of Plateau State, Solomon, Simon Bakul Along, who is the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, would like to thank you,
very much.
for this very interesting conversation. We do hope we'll have the benefit of your attendance once you and your team, you hit the trail for the APC. We wish you the very best, as we also wish the other 17 candidates the very best. Thank you for being our guest on the program this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right. So let's come back to the leaded senior advocate, who's the spokesperson of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. One thing that I want to return to again is, look, do you have any concerns, for instance, about the attention that is being focused on the vitriol? That's to say, the campaign of calumny, the lack of focus on issues as where the insults that are being hauled up and down. What, in your opinion, can be done? In other words, how do you set how can the right examples be set and emulated in the course of these campaigns?
well, I think it's for us too, as a ruling party, to also set the tone, the right tone. And we have tried as much as possible to keep our eyes on the ball. We have tried as much as possible to keep our message very simple and, free, from this kind of vitriol you're talking about. The real responsibility is on the fourth estate of the rim. That's the way I see it. Because if two contestants are within the square, really, it's all be a babel of voices. Even if I am trying to, calm the other side down, they will see it as part of the fight. So I think the fourth estate of the rim has a lot of duty, press, to draw out, to call out some of these people who are descending into this arena of calumny. For instance, I'll give an example. In respect of our candidates, we have said it over and over again that some of these allegations you are bringing out, they are really, non-issue. So it is for the press to call out these people. If somebody comes here now and be talking about the age of Asiwaju, you tell him, say, show me the different documents. Is there any historical document where at a point two different affidavits came out? No. Two different dates of birth came out. He ran as senator at 41 in 1993. He ran as governor at 47 in 1999. There was no issue about his age. None at all. All of a sudden, he wants to run for president, somebody, raises the issue somewhere, and now because it sticks out there and becomes an issue instead of what he wants to do. So it is for the fourth estate of the rim to draw them out, to call them out when they descend to this arena.
Woman leader. Yes, we know the role of women. Your mothers, your wives, your aunties, and so on and so forth. What is your concern about violence in the course of electioneering, where, of course, the vulnerable groups, women, persons with disabilities, are usually at the receiving end? But young persons who are born of women are normally at the forefront of perpetrating violence in the course of electioneering. What is the APC doing differently in terms of messaging to its publics?
I'm sure you've noticed that women have taken the forefront in the APC presidential campaign and campaigns across board, right? And we are doing that. Day before yesterday, we were in Imo State, and millions of women marched in Imo State, southeast Nigeria, APC women. And we did that march in solidarity of our candidates, Senator Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima, but more importantly, to tell our sons, to tell our children that for the 2023 general elections, we do not want violence. Those children are our pride. Those children were given birth to by us, and we must protect them and win an election free and fair.
Right.
Women are all out. Will be the peace, will be the bridge builder for the next election.
Dr. Betta, we thank you so much. We're looking forward to these campaigns, and we hope to see you here again.
Sure.
To discuss the campaign proper. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, APC Presidential Campaign spokesperson. We thank you for being here this morning. We're accepting that he has taken our job. You know, he's a spokesperson. He's a lawyer.
No, it's just that you are being paid. Mine is volunteer. You are being paid. Mine is volunteer. It's
How do you know I'm paid? Okay.
But
Thank you for coming
I
here
don't
this
prefer
morning.
that he's a lawyer. But
You should not be a spokesperson. When people like you and I, when people like you and I are here, and the spokesman for consult us. Thank you.
Okay, that's it for us today on Good Morning Nigeria, and indeed for the week. We appreciate your being with us. Join us on Monday, same time, 7 o'clock in the morning for a fresh package of the program. Enjoy your weekend. Kings.
And I'm curious. Have a good weekend.